All right, welcome everybody. We're going to start this show by welcoming a real sponsor to the program. We're really happy to have a sponsor. We have a BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com. BetterHelp, do you have something that's interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your personal goals, Dan?
Lots of things, yeah. Now that I think about it, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I know I do. In fact, that's why we didn't have a show last Thursday, is because I need to take a mental health break is what I need to do. I need to take care of some stuff around my house, with my family, with my head, with all that stuff.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and then thinking after doing 350 shows, I would be, there's probably some times in those 350 I probably should have taken a few more mental health breaks and took care of my stuff. But what's nice is I found a real sponsor for this program, and it's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com. If you go to BetterHelp, they're really good. And I've actually tried the program. We try to use BetterHelp because I don't want to have a sponsor for my show if I don't believe in the product.
Sure.
You know? So I said, well, let's try it. And if we have any problems, we don't think it's right for the audience or whatever, then I'll stop using them as a sponsor, you know? But so far, so good. What we did was we called, and you go through a questionnaire, and it shows you kind of like your it asks you a bunch of questions about yourself and what you're looking for, what kind of problems you're having. And it doesn't matter what kind of problems you're having, if it's like depression and anxiety, if it's social awkwardness, LGBTQ issues, if it's
drink,
marital problems, substance abuse, any of those things, They find the right person. They have a network of therapists that they will align you with the right therapist for you. And if you're not happy with your therapist, they'll let you change the therapist.
Right.
And they get back to you. They say within 48 hours, but it was within 24 hours that they got back to us with an appointment. And as I said, it's. And what I really liked about it, this is true, is it's really way cheaper than regular offline counseling, and not even just offline counseling, but what you get now is mostly online counseling, especially if you're a guy that lives in the middle of nowhere like me.
Right. That's interesting.
It's a lot cheaper,
because I think access to mental health care is an issue.
Yeah,
for a lot of people, Like if you pull down $100,000 a year, you've got access to mental health. You can have a therapist and stuff like that. But if you don't find yourself in that circumstance in life, access to mental health can be services can be very difficult. So this is interesting.
You get access to a therapist at any time. You can contact them by text or whatever like that.
Right.
And it's a monthly membership. So if you really look at what you're getting for the money, it's like a lot cheaper. And even if you just compare it without even looking at what you're getting, it's way cheaper.
Right.
And
well, I would like to point out, sorry to interrupt your ad, but I'd like to point out that I didn't know you were doing this, so I'm going to go and check it out because I wouldn't endorse something I don't know either. But I've never heard of them before, but it interests me. It interests me.
Well,
the idea of having someone I could call and go, Pete and I fell out last night. I don't know if we can repair the relationship. That would be helpful.
You got someone. Honestly,
that'd be helpful.
In the pandemic right now, there's a lot of people that are struggling. It's like feelings of isolation and loneliness and stuff.
Yeah.
And, it's true. You should use it. And if you go to betterhelp.com/Dutch Hall, there's a promo offer for Dutch Hall listeners where you're going to get 10% off of your first month, which is already cheaper than offline counseling. And then you get a further 10% off your first month. It makes it very, very reasonable for getting professional counseling. It's not a crisis center. It's not a self-help line. It's professional counseling done discreetly. And so far, so good. I'm really happy with it. BetterHelp, they want you to start living a better life today. Go to betterhelp.com/Dutch Hall. That's betterhelp.com/Dutch Hall. And again, you'll get 10% off your first month, and you'll start living a better life today. BetterHelp is a sponsor of this podcast, and we thank them for their support.
I certainly do.
I think we did pretty good with that ad, too. That's a decent ad.
Yeah. Sorry for interrupting it. And
it's okay. Last week, I tried doing one with Mike, and then I was like, I give him the lead-in sentence, and I go, hey, Do you have something that's interfering with your happiness? And he's like, nope, I'm doing fine.
Everything's good.
Yeah, that sounds like something Mike would say.
Yeah, he was telling the truth too. Like he actually does have his shit together. He's one of the only people I know. Right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Bravo.
It's
really
nice to hear. The one thing, because I've been listening to the podcast, and the one thing I like about having Mike on, like when you talk about people that you haven't seen in a while, or people that are like absent, or like you're talking about anyone, if Mike knows them, he'll fucking rep them right away. Like he's the world's greatest hype man. He's like, they can say we haven't seen Simon. Oh, Simon, I miss Simon. Like, yeah.
I think it's because it's really how he feels. He really does like those people, and he tells them when he likes them. I went to a bar one time when we went to interview the Iron Sheik, me and Mike.
Yeah.
And I was just amazed at it, the way he talked to people. He would just tell them exactly what he's thinking, like girls or whatever, too. Like he just say exactly what he's here for, and like honest and no bullshit and that. And it like, not that that's like a different than I live my life too, but it's like the ease in which he's just able to just tell the truth, and then how easily it works for him.
Yeah,
is like I really enjoy that about the guy.
Yeah,
it makes for good times and so much less trouble.
Well, yeah, and it's not just like his demeanor, but it is he's got that lovable smile and face that like he walks in, there's someone that's approachable. You know what I mean? If he walks into the room, boom,
I've often
he looks like that. He's got that boy next door Matt Damon quality.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think you have something in common. I think you have something in common with our robot friend.
I was going to say,
what's
you might
that?
be making someone jealous.
Yeah, you have something in common with our robot friend, as you'll find out later on in the program, Dan.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if you know this, but we do a little thing to begin our show.
Oh, right.
You ever heard of it? You ever heard tell of it?
Hey, maybe a little bit.
It's a thing we call the theme song, Dan.
Oh, yes.
There it is. Yes, the audience is big.
Big crowd.
Yes. Welcome, everybody, live from the Dutch Hall. And I say we're live from the Dutch Hall because we are live, and we are the Dutch Hall with Pete Van Dyke. And we're coming from a pool shed in Pine Grove, and that means we're the Dutch Hall. That's what it means every week. And we have a beautiful, beautiful cast. This is Season 8 cast, because Season 8, as you know, is a different season. We kind of like don't put pressure on the show. We're not going to force a square peg into a round hole like Pete Van Dyke has always done. We're going to just let the Dutch Hall breathe. We're going to let it be what it is. We're going to invite in people who feel comfortable risking their lives in the time of a fucking pandemic.
We're going to obey all the protocols.
And we're going to sit around and we're going to chat, and we're going to just let it be what it is. And I personally like that about Season 8 because it is taking a lot of the pressure off me. It has just made it less stressful. And I think a little bit of the fun's coming back to the show. That and my new co-host has also helped quite a bit. But we have to introduce the crew here today. First of all, coming back to the show and doing a great job on the soundboard. Let's give a round of applause to Kevin Van Dungeon, everyone. Kevin Van Dungeon.
Go on, then.
I give myself what I deserve.
Oh, very little to yourself. It was very, very curt.
Or Tom, or Joe.
Or Joe, whatever.
I guess we're
Frank.
about to see what you thought of my pre-show banter, right?
Oh, yeah.
And our guest tonight, he is in a neck-and-neck race. I should say his balls are in a neck-and-neck race with Beaver's hog for which is closer to the ground.
Hey!
He is our long-time, many-time guest, Dan Brennan, everyone.
That's
Dan Brennan.
me right here now. Yeah. Nothing better to do.
Don't forget you.
Yes.
Oh,
and everyone, I am your host, and if you look above Kevin's head, you will see back again in the Dutch Hall, there are my 2-time President's Club awards.
Two-time.
And I am your host, Peter Van Dyke.
2-time.
Oh,
That was a mistake.
Kevin, you're almost fired. You're almost fired. You're that close.
I get what I deserve.
I did rearrange Kevin so I didn't have to look at him directly. I want him only in my periphery. I don't want to actually eyeball him, man. I don't like him eyeballing me.
Yeah.
There'll be a screen up next week.
You're an anti-ref guy. I mean, like, don't abuse him, or he'll just run back to the UFC and start reffing fights again. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You've
get it on. Get it on.
Kevin would make a great referee in the UFC, I think.
Do you think?
Yeah, he's big, and he's probably strong, I imagine. And he's got a good temperament. He's not gonna.
Yeah.
If they hit him by accident or whatever, he's probably just gonna be able to like understand that that's just part of it.
I don't think that's the worry when you're a UFC referee.
What is it?
The mouth. It's the mouth that they might give you. You know, like disobeying your rules. You're the ref. That's your.
And then what do? You're gonna.
In what they used to do in wrestling is the referee would just slap the guy. You know, so I don't know if they could do that.
But the guy can't I don't know. He's like the referee can't boss around two guys fighting and they take off points and make you lose, right? They disqualify you, don't they?
Yeah, I think I don't know if I'd be flipping off a skilled fighter.
No, that's a bad idea.
If he
from
says
the get-go,
something off color to me, I'd probably just accept it.
This is what I would do. I would just ref, and then if the guy gave me any lip, I'd fucking pull up my revolver and I'd fucking pistol whip the fucker.
I like that.
Great idea.
Hey, you know who we didn't introduce for this show?
Oh, my.
Who?
It's our co-host.
Oh, my God.
The co-host is sitting beside me.
Patient man.
I forgot all about this guy. He said, I can't believe I forgot about him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Charters Robot, everybody. Charters
Thanks
Robot.
a lot, Pete.
Charters Robot.
Oh, thank you. Charters, you didn't get a round of applause when we introduced you?
I'm so
Charters
sorry.
Robot, everybody.
Charters Robot.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks a lot, Pete.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to say that's a pretty nice round of applause, wouldn't you, Dave?
Sorry.
It sure is.
Yeah, it sure is. Hey, you're doing pretty good. Hey, Dave, I wanted to just get into it a little bit with you. I understand that you've had a few upgrades this week. One of the upgrades, I believe, is a new laugh. You have a new laugh to unveil. Is that correct?
Excellent.
Oh, I detected.
Excellent.
I detect a bit of Michael Bow in that laugh. How did you do that? How did
Just
you
staring into Michael's eyes across our guitars.
really? And that was all it did, eh? Do you like it? Do you like the new laugh?
Sounded fucking great.
Oh, you did, eh? Well, I guess if you like that, you can use that laugh. You are your own robot, I suppose.
Thanks a lot, Pete.
Okay, great. And we'll get back to Charles Robot throughout the show.
Well, he is the co-host.
He is the co-host, so he will have to pitch in. Yes, that's right. Actually, I wanted to get into it. I'll just keep going on this. I'm a Catholic. I don't know if you know that, Dan. Are you a Catholic?
I am Indeed.
Irish Catholic?
Well, born in Belfast, Northern Ireland, as a Catholic. Yeah.
So, I'm also a Catholic. Do you go to Mass now?
No,
you don't go to Mass.
No, I don't. But I foresee a time where I would be the one taking my parents to church, and
what's your problem, man?
Well, I have a problem with the whole Catholic Church charters. Thanks for pitching in when I finally get a bit of airtime. Thanks.
Oh man,
Poor Charters.
poor Charlie. You know this robot's a staunch Catholic too.
Oh, right. Okay.
He is.
Okay.
Like, Charters, you got any opinions on the Catholic Church, Charters Robot?
Why does the world so hard on the Catholic Church? A couple priests do some bad things. People do bad things in all sorts of jobs. Why is it the Catholic priests always making the front page?
Oh, come on.
Wow,
now.
that's
Come
pretty
on
controversial.
now.
It sounds like you think there's like a conspiracy. It's like a conspiracy against the church. Is that what you think?
It sure is.
Whoa.
It sure is.
Whoa. Well, that is amazing, eh? I'm actually shocked that this guy thinks that way because he had a story when he was a kid about like him going to see a priest. Do you remember that story when you were a kid?
In the primary grades, I was known as Husky.
Yeah, I know that. But like, do you remember going to see the priest and asking that question? Do you have
So
any?
I could feel good about myself.
Yeah, not why you went, but like just before that, like where you were like, if you were like, hey, Dave, do you remember that? Do you have any recollection of that at all? Of going to
One
see
of
a
the
priest?
most embarrassing childhood memories. I think
You think what? Keep going, man. I don't want to stop you.
scarring is maybe a better word.
Okay, you went to a priest. I'm going to walk you through the story, okay? you went to a priest. You wanted to ask him a question, right? And this question like shook you at your core. You said, "Do you remember that? Have any
What
recollection?"
is a cornhole?
That's what? That's what you asked him.
What is a
I
cornhole?
said, pardon?
What is a cornhole? That's
What is a cornhole?
That's what you went. That was what you asked your priest.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, I can. I can with you. I can with you. Anyways, yeah, thank you, Charters Robot. Anyway, sorry, what were you saying, Dan?
I was saying sometimes it doesn't pay to be curious, eh?
Yeah.
What is a cornhole? That's not the kind of question you ask a priest.
No, he
What is a
answered it.
cornhole?
No.
He answered it, didn't he, Dave?
Yeah. Oh.
It sure is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I like the confessional nature of the show so far.
He usually laughs more at it. It's usually funnier when he laughs more at it.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
Yeah. But with this one, he's serious about it. He's just like telling the
Yeah,
facts and
it's-
just sitting there. It was no jokes. Like I think Dave's really opening up to us.
I think Dave wants. I think he feels a bout of laughter coming on now. Dave does.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, there you go.
it's more nervous laughter now that
It
you know,
is.
he's just
Yeah.
getting it out.
Hey, Dave,
He's been put
don't
on
feel
the spot.
bad for sharing, man. Don't feel bad for sharing. There's no need for nervous laughter. Like ashamed laughter for sure.
Yeah.
Like you should be able to generate some of that, no problem. But,
I sent my kids to Catholic school. That's what I was trying to get to before we were interrupted by this guy.
yeah,
But he,
quite the experience.
we were in. I was thinking my kids went to Catholic school. We sent them to Catholic high school and everything. And I was thinking, why the heck did I send my kids to Catholic school? Because my like faith in the church rules is very fragile. You know, I went all through Catholics.
Would you call it fragile or thin?
Well, you know, I'm not saying I don't believe in God or anything like that. Like I have my own belief in God. I read the Bible. I have my opinion.
Me too.
I have my opinion on Jesus. You know.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the Catholics got it right, in my opinion.
Right. Okay.
You know,
what do you
like-
think they got wrong?
Well, my first thing that I think they got wrong, to be quite honest, is that like if you look at Jesus, my guy, JC, you know what I'm talking about?
The original beard. Come on.
Yeah. Well, Jesus, he was a big friend of the tax collector and the prostitute.
He wasn't a fan of the tax collector. Don't you remember? Oh, it was the money lenders. He hated the money lenders.
Well, everyone hates the money lenders.
Yeah. He chased them out of the church, so didn't he? Like,
Oh, it was they were ones out trying to sell wares. They were making his father's house a marketplace. Those cocks tipped over the table. He went crazy like fucking Rambo.
I thought it was the money lenders. It wasn't like guys selling pottery or like.
I thought it was all day
dream
suckers
catchers.
with like a picture of God on or something like.
No,
bullshit.
it wasn't a gift shop. They didn't know who he was yet. He didn't have a reputation.
Well, anyways,
Yeah. Anyway.
that story. Let's go to that story if we want to. That story. He's mad because people are in the temple, the Jewish temple, making it a marketplace, and he flips over the tables, tells them all to get out. He goes crazy, right?
That's correct.
And all that is because they're making the church like a place of business. Well, you go to the Vatican, you can literally buy an all day sucker with a picture of the Pope on it. Like
right.
you can get a
sucker,
lighters
yeah.
with
Absolutely.
with Mary
Absolutely.
on it. I have one.
I'm sure I discussed this when I don't know why this is coming. I'm sure I discussed this here on the Dutch Hall, but I've been to Rome.
Yeah.
Is it St. Peter's Cathedral? Yeah, St. Peter's Cathedral is like the centerpiece
Yeah.
church at the Vatican. There's a huge snaking lineup to get into the place, right?
Right.
This old Italian family, like me and my mate are standing there. They snuck in the line in front of us. Like the old Italian lady, like classic looking Nona.
Yeah.
She just goes, I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is the house of God. You don't fucking cut the line at God's house.
Yeah, man.
But-
They're Italians though. They get first crack at God.
I guess.
They're home
Because
home
are
team.
you saying they're the chosen, they're the chosen people?
the Italians are now. They got the Vatican, right?
Fair enough.
If the Catholics are right. I think that Jesus isn't as big in Italy as it once was.
Oh, no.
Like I think
No.
back in the day, Jesus was a big deal. He was like the number one guy.
Oh, yeah. Like Catholic Church, very, very powerful. But I think the Catholic Church is, as the last time I was at a church, okay,
Right.
I won't say what occasion I was there for, but they had a young priest who was like within the next 6 weeks going to take over that parish.
Right.
He was from Nigeria.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, where's the local kid
Right.
that wanted to take over that role? You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
They got to import someone from Nigeria.
Yeah.
Like, I do not wish to sound racist in any way, but I think Nigeria would be considered like a third world country in terms of like the difference between faith and science, right? Like that.
Well,
getting
yeah.
that balance, right?
You look where religion's a big deal, and it's usually where there's like hardship
Poverty,
and
yeah.
poverty, and and that's where it's a big deal. And then it's less of a sell elsewhere.
Yeah.
I was watching with my daughter.
Unless you're in the States and they've got these mega churches, which they fucking annoy me. The
Like a
mega
stadium.
churches, like a stadium of rich people, and they preach something called a prosperity Bible. God wants you to be rich.
Yeah.
Like this Joel Osteen guy, you can pay him $24.95 a month, and he will have someone pray 30 times for you.
I can.
Really?
Yeah, you get. I know
Hey,
a
man.
bargain, right?
I don't want any ads
Bargain.
on this show that don't pay me, man.
No free ads.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
I'm telling you this. What we should do if we wanted to make our money, we should buy that product and then sue him.
Yeah.
And then sue him. Prove to me that you prayed for me and that it was heard or whatever. I don't know.
I don't know if you can
What
do
a
that,
dick.
but I'll tell you this. I watched with my daughter on Netflix. They got this Aretha Franklin special.
Yeah.
And it's like
yeah.
her in a church, right? It was
Yeah.
supposed to be a movie, but then they fucked up on the second night, and they had big technical difficulties. So they just put out the raw footage from like 72, I think, 1972.
Right.
It's fucking awesome. Like you get to see real, like a real, like it's not like a movie. It's just like
Footage.
video footage, like
Mm.
stock footage, like where they're capturing the moment, more than anything.
Yeah.
And anyways, the point is like you can see these like churches, especially these black churches in the States, where gospel music is like that's the draw, to get people in. Like the music is what gets people to go to church, right?
Yeah.
And then I went to one of those choir performances at a Baptist church in Memphis, Tennessee one time, and it was like unbelievable. Like one of the best things I've ever been into in my whole life.
Make
and I'm
it as
like,
entertaining as possible, right?
if this was my church, I'd go every week. It would be no question. I would just go for the music. It's awesome,
Dude, if the 1800s, if they had a kiss cam, the church would have had a fucking kiss cam. If they could have shot fucking T-shirts that said, I belong to the Lord from the altar, they would have done it.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
So you're
It's
saying
entertainment.
That's what it is. The Americans get it.
Sorry, already I have to use the bathroom. Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, you're going to go pee? Can we talk about you, though?
Yeah, please do.
Oh,
Please do.
yeah.
Nice.
Talk about my constant
So it's better than like Holy, 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 that song?
Holy, holy, holy Lord, God of power and might.
That's the one.
Heaven and earth are full of your glory. Hosanna on high.
That's the one.
Yeah?
Hosanna.
In the highest. That's a long one, eh? Is that the one that goes, sometimes they say it and sometimes they sing it, and it makes the mass like twice as long?
Yeah.
Oh, brutal. I always like when they said it because you could just get it over with.
Some priest that
But
wants to just watch
the very
game.
end of it, though, where it goes like, for the power and the glory, that part at the end, I like that part at the end. I think this is over.
It's uplifting.
Yeah. It is I do like that little part at the end. It's a nice song, though. It's a nice song, but I don't know. What were we talking about with that one?
Just how the southern churches with the good choirs
Oh,
and
yeah.
bands, how much more entertaining that is than going to listen to
Yeah.
Holy,
yeah.
Holy, Holy.
This is the wood of the cross on which hung the Savior. Do you remember that?
I don't remember
yeah.
that one.
Did you go to That's Good Friday Mass?
You know what song is stuck in my head today?
What?
There was a man from Jericho called
Zacchaeus?
Zacchaeus.
Oh, yeah. There was a man from Jericho, Zacchaeus.
Zacchaeus
There was a
small.
man
from Jericho. Is that how it goes? I've never heard that song.
Zacchaeus was his name?
Yeah. No.
Now Zacchaeus.
Are you guys subscribing to a different Catholicism than I?
Well, we don't know that. That's
Oh.
the thing. That's what did you go to church in Ireland or in Canada?
No. Well, I did go in Ireland, but I was too young to remember. I went to Catholic school when I got to Dryden. Hey,
Dryden, Ontario?
Dryden, Ontario, for you geography majors. The principal of our school, our Catholic school, was a nun.
Your principal was?
The principal of the school was a
girl?
nun, and like she wasn't evil or anything like that. Like
Like a woman nun?
yeah, like a female nun. What I remember is when we were signing into the school, like you had to go in and fill out the paperwork, mom and dad, and me and my brother and sister, and they get to the languages question, right? And it says languages, and my dad goes English and foul. And he looked right at me when he said it because he knew it was funny, and she did not think it was funny.
The nun didn't?
No, of course she did not.
Sex? Yes, please.
Yeah, but like we'd been in the office for like 40 minutes at that point. It was getting tedious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyways,
I went to Catholic high school,
Mm.
and I had to take 4 religion courses. And in the grade 10 religion course, they had a open book exam, and my teacher was a monk, Brother Lloyd.
Right.
Brother Lloyd, but he didn't look like a monk. He wasn't wearing a robe and had like a
hair.
friar tuck haircut.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. He was just wearing like bad polyester slacks and a button-up shirt, and he was greasy and had BO.
Sounds like a monk. Yeah.
It was just like a
Yeah.
middle-aged, like gross guy, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, Brother Lloyd, he kicked me out of the final exam for cheating on an open book exam.
What?
How do you find?
Exactly. Well, that's what I say. How can you cheat on an open book exam? He says you have to have your own book. You can't use other person's book.
So how were you using another person's book?
Well, someone finished the exam, and I said, "Hey, give me your book." I don't have a book, and I was
So
struck.
you went into an open book exam without a book,
I had not taken a note that year.
and not taking a note that year.
No, I
But
didn't.
were you confident going into the exam?
No, I was not.
No.
I thought religion was stupid.
Yeah,
And
fair
the
enough,
course
fair enough.
made no difference. And then
So there
I
was
would
an
have got a higher.
antagonistic relationship between you and the monk before you even arrived at that exam.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Definitely after there was. Because after I was kicked out of that exam, I said to Brother Lloyd and the rest of the class, I said, these are my exact words, in grade 10 Pete, so how would I be, like 14, 15 or something? 15?
Maybe a little bit of this in your voice?
Yeah. I was like, fuck you and fuck this whole fucking class. That's what I said.
Brother Lloyd?
Can I tell you the best thing that ever happened to me in a religion class?
What?
Okay, there's weird touching incidents in high school. Let me expand. Let me expand.
Wow.
Okay, so like the old desks that would have had an inkwell in them.
Yeah.
Like I'm not old enough to have actually had an inkwell.
But there was an inkwell in it.
But there was the hole for the inkwell.
Yeah.
Okay. I was sitting there. I was sitting at my desk. It was like end of a class on a Friday, right? Like for the next 20 minutes, just do your own thing, right? And this girl, and like I've been in grade school. She was like a grade younger than me. Because in Dryden, where we were, you had to go. Like we went to the Catholic grade school, but there's only one high school.
Right.
So we went into the high school, but they had a religion course, right? I think the first time that year, just my luck, just my luck. But this girl, like I had my hand on the end of the corner of this desk. I'm sitting at this desk, and she came, I swear to God, and she sat her lady parts through her corduroy jeans on my hand.
Oh, yeah,
Right?
that's an old trick, man.
And I'm old chick, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so like, but I'm grade 9. I have no idea. I'm like, I assume she has no idea my hand is there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How many times did you? I remember like at like high school parties, you fall asleep beside a girl, or you go on a camping trip, you fall asleep in a tent beside a girl or whatever, and you just assume that like, man, they just must sleep pushing their crotch forward towards you the whole night. because it's like there's a magnet towards the crotch. Like your hand or any part of your body that can get in and around that crotch is going to get sucked into it. The girl's crotch when you're a teenager sleeping near a girl that.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's the old teenage ideal. If I start talking about sex in front of her, at least the subject's on the table,
Yeah, I think a lot of times it was more unsaid. If I can just maybe grind one into this guy's kneecap, and he thinks I'm sleeping, then I won't come across like a whore. You know?
And the male of the species is constantly aware of what part of the female is touching you.
Absolutely, yeah. There's an opposite there.
That was an elbow.
I remember one time I was at this party and I fell asleep at in the basement. There was 2 girls in the bed with me, and the one girl's boyfriend comes downstairs, and he's trying to make out with his girlfriend, and she's like, "You're drunk," you know. She's like telling him he's drunk and to get out of here with him trying to and then she climbs back into bed with me. I just remember thinking, like, that's weird. That's weird logic. I'm drunk too.
Yeah, well,
but that's her boyfriend, you know. Anyways, it's not her boyfriend. It never worked out.
well, he drinks too much.
Yeah, he drinks too much.
Yeah,
For her.
They were both. I think we were.
He doesn't
14.
understand boundaries.
Yeah.
And her back probably got sore grinding her lady parts into people laying in bed.
I think that was a hockey party at my buddy's house.
Oh yeah,
And
a hockey party.
a hockey party, and his
Yeah.
coaches were there. They're the ones that brought the booze and stuff. Like his coaches were drinking with us.
Sounds very, very typical of the early '90s
Yeah.
high school scene. Yeah.
The coaches would probably been like 20. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were in their 20s for sure. Like in our high school, like I never played high school hockey, but we had we're very proud our school that went off so a couple of years while I was in high school, right? We're a school of 600, right? It's basically a bunch of guys who should have been playing junior B, but were too lazy and wanted to play high school, right?
Right.
But when the coach of that team, when he retired like 20 years ago, apparently like fucking 200 people showed up at that party. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And those guys used to always go up to cottages and drink away with the coaches. I don't think you can do that now.
Yeah, I remember in my last year of high school, a couple of teachers came to our grad party
End of year stuff.
and drank with us.
Yeah.
And we were like all too young to drink, I think.
Everybody's like that. Your teacher's like
Dude, we used
that
to-
character from Dazed and Confused, McConaughey's character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
the same age.
the one teacher that showed up at that party. I remember he was a typing teacher, and I arm wrestled him in grade 10 and beat him. And I also
You want to be a secretary?
yeah, but that's the thing. It's like if you're like a teacher and you get beat in an arm wrestle by a kid, like that's humiliating, isn't it?
Cool.
Yeah, easily.
Why would you even accept that challenge? There's no win in it for you. You beat a kid, then you're
Totally.
You're a douche.
yeah. There's no win. Why would you even do that? Of course, I killed him. They're like a farm kid's gonna beat a grown man from the city any
He
day.
just
That's
wanted
right.
to touch you.
Just wanted to
He just wanted to hold that hand.
wanted
Maybe he
to
was a bit of a twink. I gotta tell you.
squeeze
I
that.
can imagine you were quite the thing in high school. Like you were the lad.
I was gorgeous.
You were
Ah, you still are.
Oh, you should see me then, Kev.
That's what I was trying to angle towards. Like you were something, weren't you? Yeah.
I don't know, actually. I always had a poor self-image, Dan, so it always took the bit of the wind out of my sails.
Yeah, I feel like if there was ever going to be like a Delhi Superman, like you've got superpowers or something, it would be you, wouldn't it?
He was that.
I think of a couple
unassuming-
cousins that would be me.
He's that unassuming hottie.
Unassuming.
I did have girls that said that the reason that they thought I was attractive was that I didn't know I was attractive. That's what they would say.
You're like, no, I'm just.
What I like most about you is you don't know that you're good looking, and I'm like, what? And
you're like,
then I would always not know they were trying to fuck me.
Wait a minute.
Right.
Did she just insult me?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know what's going on. And then, but that's why I suck with women. Like I got married because I needed to, because I'm no good with
You
it.
need to take yourself out the market.
Yeah, I'm terrible at it. I don't want to do any of this
Latch
stuff.
onto the
I really am
I
bad.
don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Plus, you know how hard it is to convince a woman to deal with all the stuff that I got.
I always
I
think.
don't know how you guys do it. I was a terrible husband. I mean, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it.
I always think they can do better.
Huh?
I always think they can do better.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
they
think
know-
if you don't think your wife can do better, then
That's
you
a
don't have a
problem.
very good wife,
Yeah, that's a problem.
right?
That's actually a problem.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's all about perspective, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to be part of a club that would have you as a member. That's sort of like that old expression, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be married to a woman that, like,
The chase is better than the catch sometimes.
Yeah.
couldn't easily get rid of me and get someone better.
What is she seeing me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like a couple times. I remember specifically there was one girl that I was madly in love with, right? And we went out. We'd met on holiday, but we ended up like
Where were you?
In London, England. Okay.
On holiday in London?
No. We'd been on holiday in
Where?
a year, right in Spain, like somewhere warm. We'd met on a holiday,
Like
right?
at Canary Islands or something?
Yeah, no, actually, just outside of Barcelona. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But like nothing happened. Like we're just
met, no
yeah,
physical,
just nothing whatsoever. And out of the blue, I get an email saying, "Are you still in London?" Right? And then we started hanging out a bit. And one night I said to her, "You know what? I really fancy you. Like I think I love you."
Right.
And she's like, "No, I'm not. No. Let's just stay friends." And I'm like, "Okay." And then like a month later, we'd been out a few times since then. And then like a month later, I was going to New York, and I was behind on everything. Like I had no clothes packed. I hadn't fucking anything. Right.
Right.
So we were supposed to hang out the night before I went, and I'm like, hey, I blew her off, right? I'm like, hey, I can't go. I got to iron shirts for New York,
Yeah.
right? I got to iron. I came back, Lord, she was lovey-dovey.
She
Really?
fancied
Yeah.
you.
Because you showed that you didn't want her.
I don't know.
That's
I'm sure, like, it would be great to get her in here and hear it from her perspective, but
How long
that's
ago
the
was
way
this,
it
Dan?
read to me. This is like 20 years ago now.
Do you know her
probably
name? Do you know her name?
No.
I would like
shouldn't
to
we
see.
share it online? But
No, I could just get you to write on a piece of paper, and then I'd creep it on Facebook, and then just tell people what she looked like.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Rocket?
But yeah.
I want to. You were just like, you were young then.
Super young.
Yeah.
I like
know.
how you said you fancied her. I did like that.
I that's a very English, because
But-
I was living in England at the time. Like, oh yeah, I fancy her. Yeah.
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 Would you say you think that hurt you that you said I fancy you? If you would have said something more manly, do you think you would have?
I don't remember the exact words I used.
If-
It wasn't exactly the Northern Exposure where it was like, the truck's paid off and I got electricity in the cabin. It wasn't anything like that.
Or maybe because you said you were ironing your shirts for New York, like she's like, maybe she's thinking like, this guy's definitely gay, and then
Save hands.
and then
Save
maybe
hands.
that's their thing, like that's the ultimate, like playing hard to get is a guy that you
I'll
can't.
turn this guy.
Yeah, I'll turn this guy.
I thought it was
Yeah.
like the equivalent of a girl saying she's washing her hair.
So that you think that's my current problem, is that I'm not playing gay enough?
You're not
is this
saying
what I'm hearing?
You're not saying
No,
fancy.
you
Fancy enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know you
once
had
that pandemic lifts, man, I'll be in line at the bank going,
I
"Whoa,
fancy you.
I fancy a free pen today."
All right, like
Make it catch on.
I do want to know this stuff about Dan though. Like you're like my age ish.
Yeah.
right? Like 1 year younger actually than me. And you,
Although you're much more handsome. Is that the point we're trying
no,
to
I'm
make?
not even going to
It's
say
a
that
fair
this
point to
time.
make. It's a fair
It's just
point to
it's
make.
been done enough.
It's-
It's been done enough. It's like I'm a year older than Dan. Every time me and Dan do a show together, he gets made fun of for being old, and I'm standing right beside him,
Yeah.
and I get nothing. And then I'm always like amazed at it. And then
Well-
even when they do decide to put me in the conversation, it's only to further point out how many mistakes Dan's made in his life to make him look that much older than me, right?
That's bullshit, buddy. That's bullshit. That's
I don't
bullshit.
contribute
That's
to
bullshit.
it.
No, I know, but that's bullshit. Because one day I'm going to deliver a speech. I'm going to deliver a speech where I'm going to point out to the world that I was told that what I needed to do was settle down in my 20s, right?
Right.
And I needed to get myself a mortgage. And it turns out I didn't need any of that. I just needed to fucking live for 25 years and then take all of that and then go on stage and express it. And that will be my success. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do know what you mean. We have a very similar story actually, because we both started doing it kind of like a little bit later in life, and we started around the same time, didn't we? Or
I
a little bit after me?
I think no, and I think this has been expressed on the podcast before, but I think you were the first headliner I saw in London.
Yeah, you used that term wrong though.
You're the first guy I saw
That went
headline
last.
went last in an empty room in London, Ontario.
Yeah, exactly. That was a shit room. That was 765. That was
Yeah, but it was a 7:00 show where you could just do your shit.
yeah, and you could do a second show afterwards too, and
That's right.
it was
That's right.
nice.
That's right.
Those are good days actually. I could do 5 shows a week within from here, which is hard to do.
Great. That's amazing. Like, think about it. Hamilton is a town of 500,000 people. There are 5 professional comedians living within the borders of Hamilton.
That's it.
Yeah, like that. What do you mean? That's it? Like that? That's low.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, you're
Five
talking
people
about
who
people
can
get paid. People
yeah,
get paid?
like
Oh,
five
okay,
people
okay.
who can claim they make a living from comedy.
Gotcha. I
Yeah.
gotcha. Not
Yeah.
open micers.
No.
Yeah.
No. But
Okay.
for a town of 550,000 people, don't you think that's extraordinary? That's a one comedian. If they made them go door to door, that's one comedian, like 112,500 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like 3 people per house, let's say 3 people per house. That's just 30,000 doors they got to knock on and tell one joke. Wouldn't that be a great project?
yeah, but nobody tells jokes at home.
You'd have a sore knuckle.
Like even Jesus' neighbors didn't think he was that big of a deal. Jesus' neighbors were like, this fucking guy. He got drunk when he was 12. All that wine he made.
Here he
His
goes.
father, what a carpenter. He built everything. He built everything around it.
Here he
Look at
goes.
this kid. Look at this kid. Look at this kid.
All right, he thinks he's freaking
With his
second coming.
words.
Yeah.
With his words and his
Ooh.
open palms.
He just turned water to wine again.
Yeah.
Oh, if he could do that on the regular, he would have been the Mac Daddy.
Yeah.
You know?
Teach me to fish. Whatever.
He cocould do it on the regular. Are you thinking Jesus is a one-trick pony? You think he can only do that one time?
I feel he was humble about his powers. He wasn't using the powers to impress people. He was kind of like, here comes a parable. We're going to learn a lesson here at the wedding.
My theory about it is that I can't say all of them because I read some I couldn't explain, but like, you know how Jesus heals the blind?
Yeah.
He takes like dirt and he just rubs it in the guy's eyes, and then the guy can see. Right? That's what he does.
Yeah.
So this is my theory. Okay, you go back like 2,000 years, and people are fucking grubby buggers. They're like animals. They're more like animals than we are now.
Oh,
right?
for sure, yeah.
And they're stupid. Like they're very dumb.
Dumb as fuck.
So these guys are just covered in their own shit. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
They don't know nothing about nothing. Jesus comes in, son of a carpenter, knows a few plumbing tricks, teaches them how to like not get dysentery and keep the shit out of your eyes. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
They got so much crud in their eyes because they don't wash that their eyes seal shut with fucking crust of gross. Jesus comes in, takes some dirt,
Rubs a little dirt.
rubs
on it.
this, gets the crust out of the guy's eyes. He can see. And he's like, it's a miracle. And he's like, no, it's just fucking clean yourself, you dummy.
Just
Yeah,
go jump
yeah.
in the river.
Right? And then turns out Jesus is not the Son of God. He's just like a smart guy. He's just a smart guy. And then he figures things out. And then everyone doesn't know how to describe the smart guy, so they like make it into something fantastical. And he's like, whatever you say, guys, like whatever. As long as you guys do what I say, like wash your fucking dick or whatever. You know what I mean? And then, like even like a lot of those rules in the Bible, like get your circumcision and don't eat pork and all that stuff. It's just so you don't die. They're just like, how do we get these people to stop having infected dicks?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, why don't we just tell them I'll do this? And it's gonna.
Maybe they didn't know how to cook pork.
They kept dying because they had eaten old pork with fucking
There was
worms in it.
There was no refrigerators.
I like the idea that Jesus Christ was a health and safety officer.
Yeah.
Who essentially was in the right.
Early
and like
plumber.
had like some sort of a knowledge 2,000 years ahead about dysentery and things like this.
Yeah.
And they hated him so much. He was so officious and such a fucking little public servant that they fucking
Crucified him.
get up on the cross, you.
Yeah. You know how he got Lazarus back from the dead?
Yeah, how's that?
CPR, buddy.
Yeah, good old fashioned CPR.
You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
He was
Well,
like,
guess what? Jesus' dad knows a thing or two about CPR because he's God.
he made it
He's
up.
a man all times.
Yeah.
He made that shit up.
Yeah, God made it up.
But, like his earthly dad, heck of a carpenter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
I mean,
good guy.
honestly,
Man.
if you got one of his
Cuck,
yeah.
Cuck. Cuck.
Oh,
Hey, like his personal life, but like as a profession, like it's none of my business. But in his I think some of the buildings he made are still standing, but he doesn't get credit for that. It's all about, hey, you believe that whole.
I don't think he
What
built
happened
any
to
whole
Mary?
buildings. To be honest with you, I think he's more of a fence guy.
maybe he was a cross builder.
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, he was a carpenter, so he worked with wood, not stone. So I think that I don't think he was a fence builder. Maybe a few Oh, he was a cross builder, though. That's genius.
Oh,
That feels like a Black Mirror episode right there.
Because he was like, yeah.
Do you
I
think
don't believe any of that story. Guess what you're dying on?
You know what also is kind of fishy about the
Father's
whole
revenge.
thing is that, at the end, no one ever talks about Joseph's death that I can remember. I can't remember Joseph dying. Do you?
Well, here's the other thing about the Bible.
What?
There were 7 Gospels,
Yeah.
and I think they've whittled them down to 4.
Yeah.
And I think they had different conventions over the 1,000 years, because Christianity wasn't really anything until 1,000 years ago. People think it's 2,000 years ago, or when Jesus died, but it was just this weird Jewish sect until the Byzantine Empire's mom said,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're all going to be Catholics now," and he was like, "Yeah, ma," because he's probably decking her. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a little
Hey!
presumptuous.
Well,
Allegedly.
you're offended for Byzantine emperors everywhere?
Yeah. Have you never read my profile?
What are you going to out Nero next?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Nero, great guy. I think Nero married his cousin.
Whoa.
Was it Nero that married his male cousin?
Whoa.
What?
Yeah, I think it was Nero. And that's why they say that, when Rome collapsed, because Nero, I think he married a horse, his favorite horse. He married his cousin. He married his sister. And they're like, okay, fucking, you know what I mean? This guy's no longer an
over.
emperor.
Yeah,
He's just party all the time.
You know what I heard? I heard somewhere listening to a podcast this week that they said that there's certain things that happen before the collapse of an empire, right?
Yes.
And one of the things is there's this period of decadence where everybody's living lavish lifestyles, and chefs become celebrities, even people become celebrities for no reason other than the fact that they're living a lavish lifestyle.
That's right.
Every fucking YouTuber now, and then they say people become obsessed with sex, and it's just all about sex all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, man, this is all so familiar to what.
Yeah.
This is all gonna.
But so is all the shit in the Book of Revelations and everything else. I don't know. It's really weird.
Human nature cycles, though.
It's a weird time, but I have faith in the people that are actually running shit. You know what I mean? I have faith in the direction that we will move to a sustainable society. Do you know how cheap solar power is right now?
How cheap is solar
How
power?
cheap is solar
I
power?
couldn't give you an actual kilowatt price, but the investment that's gone into solar power, globally, it's a fucking cheap source of power. All right.
Yeah.
Kevin, put your phone down. If I'm wrong, I don't want to know tonight. No, go ahead. Look it up. Look it up.
It does use a finite resource, though. Solar power requires a finite resource. I think it's called psyllium or something.
Right.
In order to process, and then that has to still be mined, and there's limitations. But also what I don't like about solar power is when they put it on good land, they kill the fucking good land, which they've done around here.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And how do you store it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that part they're working on too. But you think about an idea that was
And my
first
TV's gonna
available-
fucking go out when it's cloudy. Fuck you. No.
Air conditioner going to shut off today? I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But
But that's how far we've come. And actually, if you look at it, these renewable energy sources are getting a lot cheaper.
yeah.
How are we in a lockdown and gas is $1.22 a fucking liter?
Carbon tax.
Well, let me just
Don't give me that carbon tax shit, because when we had the first lockdown, it went down to 80 cents a liter.
nuclear fusion is only a couple years around the corner too.
I have no problem with nuclear power if it's regulated properly.
Well, the thing, what normally I think it's fission that we do, right?
Right.
And fusion, if you can do fusion, what you're basically doing is combining, combining atoms and making the energy from combining the two atoms
instead of splitting them.
And so you can pour a glass of water into this machine conceivably, and it can take all the atoms in a glass of water and split them and make power for a crazy amount of time.
Yeah.
And it basically would eliminate the need for any other kind of energy that there is, really, if you can make these things. Yeah. And they're saying we're literally by 2026 or something like that. They think they should have this problem figured out.
I don't disagree.
It's unlimited power.
Absolutely, and it has to be real. Like, it has to be achievable because, like, you think about all the aliens that are currently visiting the planet.
That's my.
Like, they're not getting here on combustion engine fucking space vehicles, are they?
No, and that's the thing. They're saying that these things have it figured out. It is possible, you know, and so right now they can't figure out a way to contain it.
Right,
they're trying to harness it. I think
it's funny because there's one guy, I won't say his name on my Facebook page, who actually trusts when he posts science shit, and he was talking about this like 6 months ago. I think it was that the Japanese have actually, like, that word containment. They've created it and learned how to contain it on a very small scale.
Oh,
yeah, now
it's enormous.
Yeah, like the potential. You have to think about it. That's the future of the planet. We can't continue to burn carbon. I'm sorry, anyone who's in that industry, because it's choking us. Right?
No,
we're basically a cigarette smoker at the moment. We're going, yeah, but come on, it employs people. It employs people.
At least it's not coal.
Yeah,
that's what they say.
But I think like any society that builds up is going to have to come to this point where they get off the combustion engine, and I think the clever people are getting closer than the general populace would believe.
Yeah, well, if you're in the steam engine business, I mean, there's not much of a future for it. You know, like the same will be true of every technology. Eventually, it becomes outdated, right?
Yeah,
it's amazing that some of the technology that's outdated now, like TV. Would you ever thought growing up that TV would be dead?
Nope.
Like,
oh my God!
Like I never thought TV would be dead, and now it's so embarrassing to watch it. Like if someone offers me a job on TV, I'm like I have to think about it, man. Like why?
Yeah,
you know, like TV, so I can go say boring shit that nobody that's going to be so
nobody talks like they're on TV.
Nobody talks on TV like they do in real life. Yeah, it's just bullshit. And so I don't know if I could do it. I would do it. I would do it for the fucking credit.
Oh, of course you would. Of course you would. You'd do it for the payday too.
Do you think they still pay good?
I don't think they pay what they used to pay, but like if you sold a show to CTV or CBC or something, you'd do it. And even if it was this show or a sitcom.
Yeah, but guess what happens when it's this show? Because I've flirted with that. They tried to get me on like a basic cable one time,
right?
But they wanted me to not swear and not smoke.
Well, fuck that.
And I had to like do it in like.
So
the guy starts telling me
why would you get involved in a situation like that where you can't be real?
All right, that's not the show. Then I have to do a different show.
Do it.
Yeah.
Like the network.
Call it Shitty Fuck Show. Yeah. Shitty Fucking Garbage Show.
Yeah.
And then I would do that show.
People might tune into Shitty Fucking Garbage.
Oh, yeah. Shitty Fucking Garbage with Pete Van Dyke.
Great hashtags. Great hashtags for sure.
Yeah.
Not enough diversity on this cast right now either.
Oh, no. I forgot about that. Like, people used to give me shit all the time. You don't have enough women. You don't have enough this and that. I'm like, I don't stop them from coming. They just don't like me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. Find a woman who'll be seen with me in public, and I'll put her on. I don't have a show, but you know.
Like Dan, you one time, and like me and you're in the same boat on this one. We go talk to let's say we go to a comedy club. You see like a young girl in her 20s who just fucking kills it up there.
Yeah.
And you want to go pay her a compliment. Just say good job or like keep it up. You really got something or whatever, like anything like that.
Yeah.
Nah, she looks at you like you're trying to like assault her, you know. And then,
well, I wouldn't put that on the young ladies. I would not want to be a young lady in comedy because think about it. There's probably one or two of you. There's maybe like on an open mic. There's another 10 guys. Those 10 guys, they want to fuck you. They're not interested. They're not interested. You know,
yeah, you're right,
like,
Dan.
For the most part, they're not very good with women or social situations at all.
Yeah.
So you got to wade through that, and like guys.
Yeah, you're right.
And I feel bad for the art form because there's guys who will pay attention to cute girls who have no business being in comedy. I hate to say it. Everybody gets a time. You can be shit for 2 or 3 years. You know, take your time to get good. I'm not trying to discourage anyone from getting into it. But there are clearly people who are shit at comedy who, because they look well to a few people, get on shows and things like that. And that,
also, you're filling
that's
it up.
why I would feel I would hate to be a woman trying to get into comedy because you got to wade through all of that before anyone can look at your talent. You know, and I think the idea in entertainment is supposed to be that being good at what you do is the minimum requirement. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like,
Okay,
just be good at what you do, and everything else is like. Anyways,
everyone's got to deal with whatever cards they're dealt, though. Like in our situation, no one's going to listen to us bitch about our cards being dealt, even
why
though.
would you?
Even though, hear me out.
Kevin, while you're up, would you pour a little red wine? I hate to make you the bartender, but I would really love thank you without having to get up. That'd be the highlight of my week. It really would.
All right. Shut up.
Sorry.
All right, I'm saying a fucking point here, and I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
All right? I know I forgot it anyway because of your red wine, but it was like, what the fuck was I saying? Damn it all.
Shall we rewind a bit?
I had it, and too. It was like, you got to deal with the cards you're dealt.
Yeah.
Like, and like for you and I, we're like white men. Like we're like the most common type of comic there is.
Yep.
Is like white straight men. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're the most of us, and apparently we all have the same material. That's why we're all put in the same box, right? Which is so stupid to me. But like, because like, to think I'm gonna have the same perspective as you or every other white man, like, is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But there's the most of us. So if you want to put a show on where you're not getting criticized for not being diverse enough or not showing enough different kinds of people, the people that they're less of will get more bookings than their skill level requires them to.
Yeah.
So therefore, they're put in situations where they're not ready for, and they run the risk of maybe looking shitty when they're really just at the exact stage of their development that they are. They shouldn't be on a show of that caliber yet.
That's right.
That's right. Whereas like you and I, because we're in the most common group, we have to like be fucking very good to get on that exact same show because we have to differentiate ourselves.
Yeah.
So by the time we get our opportunity to be on that show, we're way better at it.
Yeah.
But
you know,
it's like they both suck.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But everybody's got to deal with it.
I wish everything was a meritocracy, and I think, and I don't want to be controversial here, but I base this on having talked to a guy who is a showrunner in Toronto, and this is what he tells me. He says, you know, I have to put women on the show because that's the audience's expectation, right? He was doing at the time a monthly show at the Comedy Bar in Toronto. He said, I get 50 messages from guys a week wanting to be on the show. One at the most of women, right? Wanting to be on the show. But he has to go out, now he has to, as a show producer, to satisfy the audience that he's not being misogynist or not giving women a chance. He has to go out and seek out women to put on the show,
right?
Which creates more work for him as a producer, right?
Right.
Which I'm not saying is wrong, but I think the expectation that shows should be balanced ethnically and gender and
unless it's an epic
sexuality show, it's just not going to happen because there's just not that great representation in comedy at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's getting better.
It is getting better, and I think the goal, like for guys like you and I, is to make it inclusive, to create an environment where, like, if a female comic shows up, or a lesbian comic, or a gay comic shows up, or a black comic, or whatever special interest group you're interested into, when they show up at the comedy club or the comedy show, that they feel welcome. And that's why, like, going back to what I say,
right? I
wouldn't want to be a female comedian and think I got to go through 10 guys hitting on me before I can even fucking tell a joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But but that's the thing is, like, I'm always from the perspective where I'm not even thinking I'm not thinking remotely about hitting on anybody. I've been so off the market for so long. So, like, for me, to get that reaction,
you've seen the guys who probably. You know,
I know it's just always being it's always being punished for somebody else's sins is what it feels like. You know, it's like I'm not doing nothing. I'm just trying to be a nice guy. But I do understand that. If I was a woman, I'd be scared to death. You know, you got to be smaller.
So, as a white man, do you feel you're being punished?
A fucking point once in a while. What?
Sorry, as a white man, are you going into a territory where you feel you're being punished for someone else's sins, or
not a white man, as a person, like as a person, like just as a man, I guess. Like you're just you go to a woman and you just want to say something complimentary. Like you did
right.
good up
and
on
she's
stage.
on guard because she's had to deal with 5 fucking
Yeah,
non-jockey
she's got to
comedians.
deal with all these people that treat her like shit in the past.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I end up
Yeah.
getting the cold shoulder from them. Like I'm trying to be a dick, but I don't even I'm not even thinking that way when I get it. So it's always takes me back. You know, like what did I do?
And as a comedian, it is annoying when you see someone get a spot because you think they got it because they're a certain gender or whatever. And
I've never thought that though.
I don't look at that, but like if someone bombs or they weren't ready for that spot, it's like if I'm sure I've said this on the podcast before. If it's a free show, if the audience isn't paying, do whatever you want to do with the show. Do whatever jokes you want to do. But if they're paying $5 to be there, you owe those people your best, right?
I think
and
so.
as a show producer, you owe those people the best comedians you can get. And I think we've seen enough shows where you're like, where the fuck did you find these 6 people?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oh, so you're just the first 6 people that email you?
Yeah,
That's how you build a show?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we've had to go through that, right?
Yeah.
And then we've had to go through the producers who will book women that they want to fuck. Once again, I feel horrible for the woman in that situation.
Yeah.
It's like you show up, you rock up, you want to tell your jokes, you think you're there.
Because
you think you're there because you're funny, and some dick just wants to put his dick in you.
That's got to
Like
fuck their careers up too.
I'd be so annoyed by that. I don't know how you can.
Well, it's Canada. This is Canadian comedy, Kev. There's no careers. Nobody has any careers.
There's a pool hall in Delhi.
I just mean like they're confident. They got the false confidence. That's all.
Yeah. That does suck. I mean, that does suck. It's like if you're like have money and you can never believe a girl likes you for who you are, you know, because you think you got money or something. It's like that sort of thing. That would suck, like because you're not being objective. But then again, it is one of your marketable skills. Like if you look at which comedians have agents that are like started around the same time as you or I did, it would be like the young hot ones.
Yeah.
And then or the experienced
I don't
ones
know who
that
has agents. I'm not worried about other people. You know what I mean? Like I don't know who like the people that I've seen progress I think have deserved it since I started. I think Michael Moses has certainly deserved it. He might have an agent, but I don't know. Like Jason Allen, obviously big fan of the show. I think he deserves everything he gets. I don't know.
I think it's a comedy and farming are to me the most democratic, perfect examples of getting what you put in. Like anyone that's talking about like the only thing about equity that bugs me in comedy, like about getting representation, is that when they do a black show or a gay show or a trans show or whatever like that,
right?
They make it that only people in that community can perform, and then and I'm like, well, I understand if the audience is all that, but if you're like, there's no reason I shouldn't be able to tell my jokes to every single one of those.
Absolutely, and there's no reason why you shouldn't be given a chance to make an audience laugh. Like, okay, like still like I think there was a time where like Italian theme shows and stuff like this were like ethnic theme shows were really popular, and I think there is still a lot of that, right?
Yeah,
and I think there's great value in not being part of that ethnicity and showing up and being the guy who makes fun of that ethnicity or you know, like presents your point of view.
The fish out of
the
water.
The idea that the fish out of water. Yes, that's the expression. I knew there was a term for it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a way to handle it. And as a comedian, you should be given that chance, you know?
And there's talks in these communities of allies and all the rest of it. Like, why can't I be an ally and still be on the show? Maybe I can be. Maybe I got to, you know, I don't know. It just seems to me always to be exclusive because I want to play these shows. Like, I got to play one room.
Shows.
I played one room of color that was like no white people, and it was the best. It was the best show ever. It was like the greatest. It was in. It was in like just outside of Vaughan.
That's great because you know your opener most nights you want to tell people that you're a small town guy. You're a hick who you know married the first girl. Whoever flashed a smile at him, you know, that's who your personality is on stage. So to put that in front of a black audience, fuck yeah, that's funny right away.
Yeah, I don't
You know what I mean? Like, who's this guy?
Moses actually got me that gig, and he was hosting that night.
Right.
And he said, have you played this room before? And I said, no. And he goes, oh, they're going to love you, is what he said. I can't wait to see you, or whatever. They're going to love you. And I was like, I didn't know what he meant.
Yeah.
You know, like, I didn't know what he meant. And then I went up and I did my set, and it fucking killed. It was crazy. And I don't know what the intangible is. And then, and I do, this is like, this is racist, I guess. But if I perform to black audiences, and I have like a pretty good success ratio, like more so than white audiences. If I walk into a room and it's a room of color, it doesn't even have to be black, just anything that's not white, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I can almost like take a breath, like, oh, thank God.
Well, I know this name deserves a boo when I say it here in the Dutch Hall, but Joe Botello said to me one time, he goes, it's white audiences that are hung up. I forget the joke that I was doing, but the premise was that I'm not supposed to be saying this because, that was the line. And now I know why people hate immigrants. And like the white audiences go,
yeah. You are
right,
an immigrant.
and there was like we were up in Brampton or something like that, so it was a very ethnic audience,
yeah.
and they laughed when I said that, and I didn't know where to go from there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, you're not supposed to laugh at that, and I brought that up with Joe, and he's like, yeah, it's only white audiences that have problems with what they're like waiting for you.
They're uptight. They're waiting for you to.
Yeah, they're waiting for you to say the wrong thing or to be offended. I don't even think "be offended" is the right term, but
they just don't want to support their. It furthers their guilt if they support it or something. You know?
But at the same time, I think white people have always had a stick up their ass, and ethnic people have always been able to have a good laugh at anything. Don't you think?
Well, dude, this is what we come from an area. This area when we were growing up was a lot of immigrants, like post-war immigrants.
Oh fuck yeah!
And
it's not that long ago.
And so we had like, if your parents were an immigrant, your grandparents definitely were. And being a farm kid or whatever, you know, you don't change that much in a generation. You really not as much as they do in the city.
No.
So like we're still a little, or usually one generation behind. You know, so like we're. I'm just saying, like, we used to, like, when I grew up, like, it was all hearing different farmers making fun of other farmers, and it was always based on where they're from. And it was like Portuguese guys making fun of Belgian guys, making fun of Dutch guys, making fun of Hungarians. And
do you remember a show called Bizarre?
Yep.
Yeah,
yes.
Bizarre.
Do you remember there was that, like, they had that one sketch that they would do where the family, like, they had this big integrated family, where they had, like, you know, the Portuguese cousin, and they had the and it was the Irish guy. We all love each other. We just make fun, and then they would make fun of each other.
Yes, with the joke, those jokes.
Why did that stop? Why did that stop?
The thing is, I don't think it did.
I understand, like not picking on marginalized people, but you can always find the funny in a situation.
Well, my point is that these people, you make fun of, like the Dutch and the Belgians, they make fun of each other relentlessly, but like it's your form of acceptance, you know. Like, my dad would ask, like, "What's this guy's last name? What is that? Polish?" And then like 3 Polish jokes, and then the guys like getting you get it. You make fun of each other's differences, but it's their way of getting to know each other's differences, and then also you're like inviting the guy in to be part of the club. We're going to bust your balls too.
Totally.
So like this is all white on white racism mostly, so it's good. Like a Hungarian guy and a Dutch guy making fun of each other is not going to get anyone upset, you know.
Right.
But like, you know, like if you look at
the
Japanese and the Koreans, for example, Japanese and Koreans, they were the same way. They both make fun of each other. Like there's probably more hatred there, but there's like the it's not really a divisive thing. It's really a welcoming thing. You're trying to bring them into your world by busting their balls, you know?
That's right.
Yeah, instead of hiding from it.
Yeah, but you know when something's done out of hatred or to use the common term, to punch down on someone.
Right.
And when pointing out a difference between the two of us is meant to bring them in, you know what I mean? Like,
are we still allowed to make fun of people from Newfoundland?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Oh fuck yeah, bye.
Yeah, I think so. I never knew they don't seem to have a problem with it.
But I can't speak for all of Ireland, but I'm pretty sure they're okay with it too. You know,
Yeah, it's like you make fun of the Dutch for being cheap, but we don't find it offensive.
never forget.
Frugal.
It's
Smart.
always the extreme. It's always the extreme opinions that get the media attention, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like when a high school in the States bans kids from showing their shoulders, you know, that's an extreme example of what's really going on in society and things like that, you know. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, you know what we got to do? We're going to do one thing real quick, and it's a segment that we call feedback. We got feedback.
oh yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
no.
no.
do we have to do it quick or are we going to take our time?
Battery medium.
Battery.
Connected to Pete Snack Book Pro and Peter Snack Mini.
Just fucking do it.
Are
I
we
think
doing
it's
it
there.
one more time?
What do we got to do?
Just play it. No, just keep playing it. We're still rolling.
What do we got to do quickly?
Do the stinger. Dan, be quiet for a second.
I got like a spinny swirly thing here.
Pete Snack Book Pro is connected.
That's disconnected now. Oh, whatever. We're going to be...
Feedback.
Anyways, just to do it quick to get it out of the way, you go to our website, livefromthedutchhall.com, you click on Amazon banner, do your Amazon shopping. If you want to do Amazon shopping, then when that money comes back and helps the show, you can also go to a Patreon/Dutch Hall, and there is 6 new tiers ways that you can sponsor the show, and you will start noticing there's a few more ads coming on the program, and that is because somebody's got to pay for this shit, and if it isn't ads, it's going to be Patreon. So if you'd like to get an ad-free option, there is a way you can sponsor the show and have ad-free experience. And if you're a small business, there's 3 tiers for business sponsors, so you can look at that and you can find ways that your show can be recognized. That's Patreon/Dutch Hall. And just want to go quickly into feedback. People every week, at the top, can you choose the Bluetooth and then choose that speaker? Or in the sound thing, does the Boise thing come up? Bose. Anyways, a lot of people, the last show was, a lot of people were, that was my story about my, it's a cytoscopy. It's not whatever I said. I was way off. But where I got DP'd, I basically got deep.
And Peter Snack Mini.
There we go. Pray something. Oh, no.
It's still spinning.
Still spinning.
So you got DP'd?
Yeah, I got DP'd. It was, and then, like 2 days later, I had my first COVID scare, so I actually got triple. I got 3P'd. Or what? No, triple penetrated because I got asshole, dick hole, and nose hole.
Wow.
Yeah.
How
Anyways.
was that? Like, do you have a new kink now?
No, I didn't like it.
Oh, no, I didn't like it at
No.
all. No, I didn't like it.
But at the end, my dick farted, eh? My dick actually farted.
Well, I saw the legend of the dick fart.
Yeah, it farted. It was like a little trumpet.
Oh, cool.
Right.
It's
Right.
a proud moment, man.
Yeah.
Proud moment.
Yeah. So,
Wish we could have recorded it.
so if
Yeah, I know. I want to do it again just for that. Like, just hear the...
if
I'm going to think of it next time. If I get it done next time, I'm going into the bathroom with my phone ready. Like, to get... Because if I can get my dick farting on... Oh, man. That would be a good soundbite, eh?
Totally.
Yeah.
We could sell that.
A dick fart.
Would you be willing to do the thing again just to get the dick fart?
Oh, it's not about willing. I'm just going to have to. I'm old.
Oh, right. Okay.
Also, the fact that you can't hold your piss through a whole show, I know that you probably got one coming, too.
I'm going to have to
Me
look into
too.
that. Yeah, I'm going in to get a wart looked at tomorrow.
A wart?
A wart on the bottom of my foot.
Oh, thank God. It's not your cock, eh?
Oh.
Hey, do you have any... Are you able to still get laid? Like, do you have game?
I've got a little bit of game.
Do you go in real life or on apps and shit? Or, like, how do you meet girls?
No, how do I meet girls? I don't meet girls.
What do you mean?
I don't meet girls. How do I meet girls?
That's what I'm asking.
I don't go on the apps and stuff like that. No, I should.
Just whores, then?
No. No, I don't avail myself of the ladies of the night. No, man, I'm single until there's a fucking pandemic end, and I'm a little bit more successful than I currently am. I can't even get the cheese lady to honor the blind date.
It's my fault, though.
No, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's
COVID, man.
I'm a horrible person.
We'll get it going when it's done again. Actually, that's a good idea. That's a good shout out, though. We should get if you want to, go get some cheese in Delhi there at the Second Mouse.
Yeah.
And we got to give
Great
Teresa a
place.
shout out. And
Great
it's nice to give. I think we should start giving a shout out to a podcast every week, too. Just to say, this is what another podcast is out there you should check out. But this week we're going to do an easy one. It's a new podcast that's going to be launched shortly. It's called What Would You Do podcast.
It is,
sounds
isn't it?
good.
Yes, it's with hosted by Dan Brennan.
Who?
Yeah. And
Oh,
actually,
Coke.
I was on one of the episodes,
Yeah.
and it was a good episode, but we have to do it again, you said. You said we could do better.
Well, I don't want to insult you, Pete, at all, but you were the first guest,
Yeah.
and I think I could be better. And I think if I was better, I would get more of what the audience is getting right now.
'Cause I thought I gave
I'm
you
not
fucking
saying-
gold. Like, I thought I gave you gold.
That's a podcast veteran you're talking to. Right
I know. I'm the most. How does one word this? I don't think I was very good, and I think that you and I could do better.
No problem. I'd be happy to do that for you.
Because keep in mind, I did one with Patrick Coppolino, and he told this amazing dildo story, but I forgot to record it. I forgot to. So when he came back, we ended up chatting about other stuff. We never got to hear the dildo story.
Oh, so it's still there.
So he's going to be a recurring guest, and that's what I want from you, Pete. I want you to be a recurring guest.
All right. I'll find my own dildo story to give you. And but let's just do this. Let's explain the premise to the audience at home. We'll
Right.
explain the premise of the show. And the show is basically, it's called What Would You Do?
What would you do?
And you go and you give people scenarios. You give
That's
your
right.
guests
That's right.
scenarios.
I do all the producing myself, not dissimilar to what you're doing here, Pete. I don't have a Kevin. I wish I did.
No,
did.
you don't.
You know what I mean?
We barely have a Kevin.
That's
you
right.
barely have a Kevin. He's too busy.
Look,
reffing fights
play
in
a sound.
UFC.
Does anything play?
No.
No, still nothing.
Point being. So this is what my podcast is all about. I create a scenario. I pick a guest, and then I give the guest the scenario on a Monday, and on a Thursday, I phone them, and it's always about that guest, something crazy that happens while they're performing, and what would they do to deal with that situation. So it's never anything normal like a waitress spills drinks or we have a drunk in the crowd. It's fantastic, amazing, outrageous things that happen. But I always preface it with the idea that I just love the idea that there's background noise that interferes. That's
Sorry.
Professional show.
Well, this could be one of the things. I'm on stage and all of a sudden fucking AC/DC starts coming through the speakers or whatever that was.
Or AC/DC comes on
Man,
stage.
I don't know if the audience can see all those cables, but that's a lot of cables. But that's the basic premise of the show, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. The backup is if they don't, because there's no one's getting paid for this, if they don't research or think about what they would actually do
Speaker's not
in
in
this.
Disconnected.
Sorry.
Connected to Pete's MacBook Pro.
I'm sorry. I
and
just know that the show's going to
Mac
end sometime.
Oh
And
my God, I'm going to meet a woman tonight, aren't I?
That's good luck right there.
That is, eh? She sounds familiar. She sounds my type, that one. Yeah.
So it's a scenario.
so
Yeah, because none of them do the research, right? So, but the backup question is, what is the craziest thing you've ever had happen to you while you were performing? But yeah, so far I've recorded 6 episodes. They're quite good fun.
okay, so we took the premise of the show and we reached out to some of the cast of
Right.
the Dutch Hall, and we had them give us.
Whoa.
Charters.
They had we had them give us some suggestions, and there we go. That's what the problem is. There we go. So I just want to do one more thing here. Let's just hear a quick boo. What? God damn it, Dan.
What have I done?
That's my fault.
I don't know what's going on.
Totally.
None of this shit works.
So easily your fault. Even if it wasn't your fault, I think you should take it on yourself.
I am. I'm good.
Okay, anyways, this is fucking just nightmarish. It just doesn't work. But,
could the problem be you have two mouses that look exactly the fucking same?
How come it doesn't work? It was working before. Oh, for fuck's sakes. I don't know how we're going to get through this end of this show. But anyways, let's just do this fucking game and then we'll be done with it. Because the soundboard's just killing me. I don't know how I'm going to do a theme song to get out of this
dampness
thing.
in the air. It's Can I tell my harrowing tale of how I got here?
Yeah, you want to tell your harrowing
goodness.
tale about how you came down the...
listen to this. You're not actually going to believe this nonsense, right? And I did this for the people at Delhi. I did this for you locals, okay? So I'm coming down the Vanessa Road. I'm on the other side of Vanessa, that little town, okay? And what do I run over? I run over a pole in the middle of the road.
What kind of pole?
Well, I didn't know what kind of pole it was. I pulled the car over. I checked the wheels. You know, it's raining and shit like that. I didn't exactly pull the car over. I hit the handbrake on the Corolla and I spun it around.
Well, like Starsky and Hutch.
Totally. Flipped the lights on.
Nice.
Just so I could see what the pole was.
Smart move. Veteran move.
Totally. And then I pulled over the side of the road and I got out and I picked up that pole.
Ooh.
And it was a goddamn tent pole.
In the middle of the road.
6 foot of aluminum tent pole. And I would just like to say to whoever's out there in Delhi, because I pulled over, I picked it up, and I threw it to the side. I'd like to say to anyone who's out there in Delhi putting up a tent tonight and missing their pole, fuck you, you fucking cunt. You deserve to be missing a tent pole. If I have tire damage, I'm going to find you.
I don't blame you.
No, it would be quite funny, though, if someone came into the Dutch Hall or at least messaged into the Dutch Hall and said, excuse me, that was my tent pole. It would be really funny. I wouldn't be mad at you.
I don't blame you.
Okay, yeah.
I don't blame you for being upset about that one bit.
Yeah. I have.
Oh, you got a tinkle?
All right.
Again?
Jesus fucking Christ. You know what I'm going to do?
What are you going
You
to
should
do?
have
Can
Jimmy
you play
England.
anything on that goddamn board right now? At all? Like, if you play the theme song or anything, would it work? Yeah, it will, eh?
Yeah, it will.
Oh, fuck yeah. Then I'm not going to mess with this shit anymore. I'm so pissed at this, Kev, I tell you.
Uh-huh.
And we've gone like an hour and a half into this show.
Time to
We got one game that we were going to play to get out, which was the What Would You Do game.
Right.
Dan's
His bladder's tiny.
Dan's bladder's tiny. So I want to just read. We got to pick one of these scenarios to give Dan
Okay.
to hear what he would do.
Oh, boy.
I know which one I'm going to give him.
Okay.
But we're just going to give Dan one. I'm going to give him the one where he's got to jerk everyone off to get out of
Sounds good.
the place.
I'm just going to try this because we missed it.
Okay. Does the stinger work?
No.
It doesn't, but this theme song does.
I think it will.
Okay, Dan. This is how we're closing the show.
All right.
I'm going to give you a scenario like you give your guess.
Yes.
But this one is going to be just for you. You've not actually heard this scenario because I tried reading all these before, but you were interrupting quite a bit. And so, okay. So this is what happens. You are on stage,
Yeah.
and you're in Alaska. You have been sent up to go work in Nome, Alaska. You're going to do a show up in Nome, Alaska, at a strip club.
Oh, of course.
You're at a strip club,
Ooh.
and they have just busted in a bunch of dudes who are like,
Fisherman.
yeah, fishermen. They were just catching the deadliest crabs or whatever.
Wah, wah.
And now they've come back to town to do the same.
to give them to the girls.
Nice.
Right.
So they, the girls there have taken the night off, and they've booked a comedy show.
Wow.
And these dudes have come in from the fucking far north where they haven't seen women in 6 months, you know?
They're expecting women.
They're expecting women at this comedy show, and they come across Dan Brennan on stage. You
Good
know?
God, Ethel.
Right?
What a situation.
These guys are coming in with guns loaded on their hips, and
Whoa.
they have snorted so much cocaine with all the money they've earned in 6 months on this
Right.
Crab boat.
Yeah, they are just coked up, ready to get laid. And they come into this and they see Dan Brennan's headlining.
They're expecting a stripper.
Right.
Yeah.
The crowd gets pissed, Dan. The crowd is getting very angry.
Yeah.
And to the point where this one guy, who's kind of like the ringleader of the whole group, he stands up and he says, we had different expectations for this evening.
Yeah.
He says to his buddy, he says, Frank, go lock the door.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
Frank goes and locks the door. And this guy says to you, funny man, we came here to blow jizz all over this place.
Right. Of course he does. Yeah.
Every single one of us are going to blow jizz all over this place.
Right.
If it's the last thing we do.
Yeah.
And since you're the fucking entertainment, that's your job.
Yep.
Right.
What would you do?
Oh, fucking the first thing you do, right? Because, I feel like I've been in this situation in a past life. I don't know for sure, but the first thing you want to do in a situation like that, you want to kill the lights.
You don't want anyone seeing what you're going to do.
You want to kill the lights, okay?
Right.
Okay. Now, one of the greatest advantages that I have, okay, is my voice.
Right.
My voice. So in the darkness, perhaps.
You sound like Kathleen Turner.
Yeah, that's what I'd have to go for. I'd have to. I'm taking off your trousers.
You're like old Lucy, eh?
That's it. So I've got the mic out of the stand. I'm somewhere safe by now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I might even, God forbid, I'm up on top of a speaker rack. It's dark.
Right.
And that's literally what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to soothe the savage beast. I can't remember, Betty Davis. She had that kind of voice too, eh? On Golden Pond.
Your voice isn't going to get the jizz out of their dicks, though, Dan.
Oh, it is if I start talking about the right things.
You're going to talk the jizz out? You're not going to manually jerk them off?
Like a goddamn phone sex line.
And
I'm going to make them do it themselves. And, And then, you know what? In the darkness.
I don't know if it's allowed.
In the darkness, it's like a British public school at that point. There could be some, no word spoken hand jobs.
To the big trouble ones, eh? To the guys that are being more trouble, you jerk them off?
No, not me.
Well
I'm
played,
just saying
host.
in the darkness.
What?
In the darkness, right?
Right.
In the dark.
They're not going to know you're jerking them off. So why
No,
not?
I'm not jerking any.
Oh.
But let me say
it's
this.
all with your mouth?
Wow.
You don't have to go that far, Dan. It's like they're okay with a hand job. You have like banker hands too. It'd be soft. It's not like they were used to
bank.
They're used to like jerking themselves off with these big man hands.
Let's be clear.
Oh.
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do everything I can to avoid jerking and sucking them off. Okay.
But that's what they want.
But I don't give a fuck what they want. But I'm gonna give them what they need.
Are you gonna grind? Are you gonna grind them?
And what they need is the fantasy. They need the fantasy.
Oh, you're painting a picture.
I'm painting a picture for them.
And they're gonna paint
away in the darkness.
Oh,
away in the darkness. Crawled up above the light. I'm above the lights now, looking down. But I'm using my dulcet tones into the microphone, and I'm making it happen for them. And like I said, if one of the guys,
that's gross, man.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah, man. I'll be just like, line up, boys. I'll tug those fuckers right off you.
Right.
That's what
it's only skin. Get over here, fellas.
Right. Well, that would explain why your wife never took advantage of that anytime trip to Alaska, wouldn't it?
Yeah, not twice, that's for sure.
Fool me once.
Yeah.
Well, now I've acquired a taste for Alaska.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to go to Alaska, except for all that jerking you need to do.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I don't think so. Can we talk about Sasquatch? Do we have time to talk about Sasquatch?
Not really, but
Okay.
but did you watch that show?
Which one?
There's one on, maybe it's on Crave or Netflix or something. There's a new Sasquatch show.
Yeah, I did watch that one. It's called Sasquatch.
Yeah,
and it's about a guy. It's about them growing pot in North Carolina, in Northern California.
Oh,
yeah. But,
did they see a Sasquatch though?
No, I don't want to ruin it for people because I love Sasquatch and I believe in Sasquatch. I don't believe in any of the other myths, but I believe in Sasquatch.
Makes sense.
Dude, there's proof that like people disappear up in those woods. You know what I mean? Like you're talking about a stretch of woods that goes from Alaska all the way to the southern tip, like to northern California.
Oh yeah.
There's crazy shit that goes on in there.
There's a forest behind my house right here. It's not nearly the size of that, you know.
Yeah.
But I go in that thing. It's chock full of animals.
Yeah.
I don't see any of them.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, very rarely do I see
hear
them.
shit though.
But I know they're there. Like
Yeah.
you know they're there. It's just like because like a lot of them are nocturnal, right? So
Yeah.
I'll go there in the daytime, and I'll just be like walking around. There's sleeping
Trip over.
families of skunks. There's sleeping raccoons above my head. There's
Beautiful.
like
Beautiful.
dens of fox and coyote that I don't see because they're all sleeping, right?
Yeah, can I tell you something that I thought I was trying to talk to a friend last night about this, and he doesn't seem to think it's amazing. You know, I live in a
Van.
hey, I live in a condo tower in Burlington, Ontario.
Dream World.
right?
Oh, sorry.
Not too far.
I'm sorry,
A
Dave.
dream world. Yeah, that's right. I do live in a dream world. Okay.
Sorry.
So, but since if I could just
I'll
go
let you
back
do
to that nature conversation.
Yeah.
So, like, if I go out on my balcony at any point during the day since the pandemic started, I could see 2 hawks
Really?
flying over, and I'm just mesmerized by them, right? And I'm just waiting for one of them to drop. But now, like, when I leave my place and I drive down like the 403 into Hamilton, there's nothing but hawks up in the sky.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. So, like
Like
why
turkey vultures or hawks?
hawks, not turkey vultures?
Probably
Turkey vultures is very
near the side of the road.
yeah.
I bet you it's red-tailed hawk. Red-tailed hawks. They're the most common you'll see by the side of the road. They are on the.
I don't see them. I see them up in the air. I don't see them at the roadside.
not?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. But it's just I'm wondering: is that because there's less air traffic, or is that because due to the shutdown, there's so much ground life? Like there's millions of mice compared to last year, and all of a sudden, Hawk's got a lot of food. He's only going to fuck. He's going to spend his spare time fucking, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I noticed last year, and I was thinking the same thing even last year. I was like, I don't know if it's just because I'm going outside more, I'm noticing things more, or if there's just more life than I remember. But there seems to be more bugs. There seems to be more more
Taking
fish,
over.
more like everything, you know. And like
But
even
it's gorgeous. Like I'm on the 11th floor, and I look. Sorry, but you know, like we're close to Lake Ontario, but I look up the bench towards like Waterdown and like Milton and shit like that, and to like sit out on the 11th floor and see these fucking birds fly in tandem, and you know, like they fly in tandem and then they diverge, and then they come back, and
it's cool, right?
it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. I know. The Beaver was saying last week that he doesn't fucking care at all about those birds. So that he just looks at like
Kill 'em.
trying to kill them and ruin their homes.
Cut trees down.
That's what he
Who the
said.
fuck is this beaver guy?
He's a farmer. He just
What did
hates nature.
Oh, well, that would make sense. Actually,
And stopping
Yeah.
rivers.
Yeah. As soon as you said farmer, I would have. Hater of nature,
Yeah.
easily. Yeah.
You know, like you'd think they'd be a
Is he
steward.
a successful farmer?
Yeah. Why farmers are about cultivating money.
Right.
They're not about cultivating the environment, as they don't necessarily have to be. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not saying beaver's like going to ruin the environment. He's just saying like if that tree is on ground that you can plant crops in and make money on the crops, and the tree's just sitting there with a fucking bird in it,
It can fuck off.
he's going to
Who
cut
can-
down that tree and grow crops in
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
Was there a bird in that tree? I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Right. That
Who
kinda
cares?
guy.
Yeah, that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Because he says that he's never noticed a bird in his life.
But you used to be in the.
That's what he said, right? Am I
Yeah.
kidding?
Nope.
Does he
He's
wear a
just-
neck brace?
No,
of any
he's
description.
Just got a big slinging dick that he's.
No, he just like
Worried about.
he says things that make me think about. He makes me think about for like 2 weeks. I just keep thinking about it.
The enigma.
Doesn't that drive you nuts?
Yeah, like people all think so differently from one another. I don't know what they're thinking, but I like it. I like hearing a person that thinks differently than me because it makes me learn like another way of thinking.
I love eccentric people.
Yeah.
I love. You know, in Hamilton, we had a homeless guy. It sounds funny, but
Where?
Hamilton?
in Hamilton, Ontario, we had a downtown Hamilton homeless guy by the name of Dwight, and he died. And like Dwight was just a dude.
Oh, I
Do you know
know.
what I mean?
I know who you're talking about.
You know
yeah,
exactly who I'm talking about.
yeah, Dwight. Yeah,
Yeah, and he passed away, and you know, like, and I wouldn't want to lead his life, but there's a part of me that looks at how free he was. You know what I mean? And like how he could go into the Lion's Head and they like, oh, Dwight, here's a fucking pint of water. Like every time he'd go in a pint of water, he'd come in for water. But one of the guys at the bar would buy him a shot. You know what I mean? And he seemed to be like the guy that organized the other homeless people. And like that was his life. He was on the street. And it was a part of my life because I was downtown.
Hey,
right?
down by Cops Coliseum, they got a whole tent village and stuff.
Well, I think they've cleared that now, but yeah, it's there's a lot of tent villages in Hamilton. You know, there's a huge problem with people not getting the care they need.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's what it boils down to, isn't
Yeah,
it?
really. You're right.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Hey, you're conservative. I don't want to get on a soapbox because I'm the last person to talk politics, but you're a provincial conservative government before all this pandemic.
Right.
They put out a survey about homeless people,
Uh-huh.
and what this survey returned is one of the stats that it returned was that the people on the street, 68% of them are dealing with head trauma, right? Like undiagnosed head trauma or whatever the stat was. But imagine, like, no matter where you are in life,
Yeah.
let's say you're a fucking rapper, right? And you've got a kilo of cocaine in one pocket, $1 million in the other pocket, and 2 women that are willing to sleep with that. How great your life is. If you take a brick in the head,
Right.
you're going to have trouble functioning. So imagine, like, having that undiagnosed, never having that treated.
Right.
Of course you're going to end up on the street.
Right.
You know what I mean? The issue with people on the street isn't that they don't have a job. It's that they're incapable of having jobs. And I think that's where the sympathy needs to come from in a place like Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No, I agree with you, Dan. I agree with you, especially from a person that used to be able to do things, and then when I had my meltdown, I couldn't do things.
Yeah.
Like simple executive functions. Like
Yeah.
even when I talked about my mental health week last week, like it's fucking gross. I can't do normal things.
Yeah.
Like brush my teeth. Like that brushing my teeth.
Like that's a struggle. Yeah.
I went a fucking week. I didn't brush my teeth. I couldn't do it. I knew I had to. I don't pay bills. I don't do anything. I just fucking, like, I'm not able to function. I know all the right things to do. I just can't do any of them. Like, it's like you can't work. Your brain doesn't work. You know, like,
Dude,
it doesn't work.
I've been through a very similar thing this week. Because this was supposed to be, like, work-wise an easy week. But it's still a week where I wake up in one room and I go to the bathroom and then I go and I sit at a desk in the living room and everything's on that computer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I got to do my 40 hours in front of that thing or my whole world falls apart, right?
Yeah.
But it still feels like such a trap. And I spent an entire week like really dragging my ass out of bed and knowing that if I could just get active, I'd feel better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But not like completely dragging and getting distracted and not being as productive as I want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it sucks. It sucks because like my way of dealing with it was just to just forge through, do more work. Like just try to like tell yourself, don't be lazy, like keep going, right? But as a result, that's the wrong thing to do because you end up hurting yourself even further because you're adding more pressure and you're putting more burden onto yourself, and then you get more burned out. And when you should say, you know what, I'm not getting anything fucking done. I'm gonna take a break, and you just do nothing for a while and relax and get your head right, and then when you go back to work, you get twice as much time.
Don't feel guilty about that.
No, you feel like it's because it's the right thing to do. You shouldn't feel guilty about it. Yeah,
and I feel like
but that's a crisis of conscience. That's something that like everyone since you're a baby tells you, don't do that. Like work hard. Like keep doing it. Like do these things, and it's like
like to be a man, you got to work hard.
Yeah, like
right?
just get over yourself.
Get over yourself.
Yeah.
But I think there needs to be a general acceptance that nobody has to work hard. If you're successful, you don't have to work hard. Right?
No.
Like, not the way they did 50 years ago, not 100 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, like women used to have forearms like this because they had to make the bread themselves. They had to knead the fucking dough themselves. Now we all buy it. We don't need to make our own dough, which is amusing that people are now making their own dough again. But, like, we've simplified life. We've got the machines to do it, and we have more spare time. We have to address what we're going to do with that spare time. And I think if we do that, You know what I mean? If we keep active, like, life is getting so much easier that, like, imagine what we'll be able to achieve as a race 100 years from now, you know?
Yeah, it'll be quicker than
Yeah.
you think. Even that certain things are going to be just unbelievable to us, and even in 5-10 years. But you make a good point. Like, I don't know, people I think are going to be like, we've been in this industrial era. Like, we've been like growing unprecedented for like pretty much everyone that's alive's whole life. They've achieved better lifestyle every year, pretty much. And now I think we're kind of like at the point where, like, it's been an unprecedented run.
Yeah.
It's bound to come to an end
Hey,
eventually.
what goes up must come down, right?
Yeah. And no one
Yeah.
that's alive is ever used to seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, I think. And then you combine this with the fact that we're coming to the end of a industrial revolution, and then we're just going to switch to AI and to do most of the work, and then people aren't going to be doing the work anymore.
So what do we do with that? Like, shouldn't that be a glorious problem? Hey, we don't have to work as much. What are we going to do with that time?
But we're all wired to work. We all believe that work is how we're valued, and if we change that,
100%.
if we change it, then what are we going to do?
Yeah, but your definition of work, right, is what I would call, well, I wouldn't call, like, I'm trying to say something grand, but value. So the idea that you have to go and sell your labor to someone else from 9 to 5 has changed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe what you used to sell your labor for only now takes you 4 hours, right?
Right.
And maybe now, if you're busy doing other things, you're more satisfied. That's where I feel the future of work is going.
Yeah, but the company's going to pay you for 8 hours for the 4. That's the thing.
Well, maybe, yeah.
I don't see it.
I think we're being too linear and too cut and dry with those 8 to 4. Like, the company would love to say that to you. I don't have to pay you for 4 hours now, right?
Right.
Because capitalists are dicks.
Yeah, that's
Let's
right.
be honest. Yeah.
Look, the corporate
we're in the
structures to make more money all the time.
But if you look at, like, the investment community, right? Okay, as an example, okay,
right?
It used to be profit was the main thing.
Yeah.
Profit was everything. Now they've got something called ESG, called environment, social, and
Horseshit.
I can't remember what the other thing is. But it's basically, there's an idea coming over the investment community, like the people that you would give your money to invest, that it's not okay to just be about profit. You have to also do it within these certain parameters, because morally we want to make money off something that we're proud of.
They're not selling that product unless they can get a premium for it.
No, I think you're wrong. I think you're completely wrong. I think
they don't have real values. Listen. If the finance company is publicly traded, it's impossible for them to have a moral compass whatsoever. The very nature of the corporation is that they're nameless, faceless entities who have one purpose. This is already AI. This is a robotic purpose of all these companies to make more money every quarter.
Right.
It comes at the expense of two things always, the customer and the employee.
Yes.
That's where you get the money from. Those people punish. So the people that the business is supposed to be for, giving a way to make a living for the employees and giving a product to the customer, those are the people you punish, you steal from to pay a shareholder who isn't even part of the process.
That's right. That's right.
And or isn't even human.
That's right. But I'm telling you now that if you look at the current environment, like that,
they're saying it because it sells.
That shareholder cares now.
No.
Don't believe it.
No, I didn't say 100% of shareholders care. I say that shareholder cares. And don't sit there and say no to me, because that annoys me.
I know, but I just don't believe it. I don't believe it, because there's just the people with money.
I feel that you're living in the past.
The people who have money don't care. The people who don't have money care.
Oh my God! How would the Kennedys exist if there was no such idea of that rich people don't care?
Do you think the Kennedys care? They
I
care
think
about
there
themselves.
Was a time. I think there was a time.
No, they cared about getting elected.
Wasn't he like a mobster?
Hey,
Joe
look.
Kennedy?
Yeah, he
Kennedy.
bullied his kid into being president. And to quote my one of my economics professors, the best thing that ever happened to Kennedy was getting shot in the head. Otherwise, we would remember how bad a president he was. That is an opinion that I've
That's
heard.
an opinion, not a fact.
Not a fact, no.
No.
But it is like people remember a dead person a lot more favorably than they do a person
Whether it's an artist or a
Anyone.
president.
Anyone. They all their sins.
Well,
get
where
wiped
do you
away.
think we are now? Now we've got Biden. Biden's just done his 100 days.
I don't give a fuck about any of that shit.
I think.
And actually, Kevin has to work. And we're getting to be 2 hours in this show, and I was just trying to tie it up with that last minute. I know that you're enthusiastic, and I appreciate it, Dan.
Yeah.
But we're a full hour past what I want to do with this program. And there's still one person that's stuck it out to this level, and I do thank that person for doing it. And there's actually 10 people that are just a little bit further behind. In this too, so
love your work.
We're doing some stuff today, but we do have to wrap this thing up, Dan. So I'm gonna call it quits. I appreciate it, and I want to tell everybody, if you do want to give me a piece of feedback, and I doubt we have sound anymore, but you go to livefromthedutchhall@gmail.com, or you can go to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. We're either The Dutch Hall or Live from the Dutch Hall. You can find us, and tell us what you think of the show. Tell us how we can do better. If you're in Australia, I'm talking about Emil in particular. I want you to
Good day, mate.
to get get the rest of those 8 Australians together. I think that you guys
What's
are
your
going to have a good
favorite
time.
color? Blue.
The Gathering of the Dutch Lows.
And if you would tell a friend or share the episode, do whatever you can. I appreciate everyone that's giving me the shout outs about those deep fakes we've been putting online.
They're great.
And until next week, unless you have anything else, keep a lookout on the every podcast provider for What Would You Do?
What would you do?
And until next week, we will see you NT. See you next Thursday.
Hey.
Can that one?
No.
Here's the outro music. Bow. Boom, 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 boom. Hope you guys are enjoying Kevin's last show in charge of the controls. Hey, I just flew in from Vegas. Boy, are my vices tired.
Connected to Pete's MacBook Pro
It might work after this.
and Peter's Mac Mini.
There, we did it. Rajorama. The soundboard's going to kill me, man.
Doom, 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 doom.